All right. So this is episode 24, how to market your products with YouTube influencers. I can't wait for this discussion. You're going to learn so much today. And we're discussing that with three people in particular, Stoski, Bri Hall, and Shae Enstad. So let's get started. I'm your host, Mark Fidelman, managing partner of Fanatics Media. And again, so excited. As a reminder, we're about how-to content, not fluff here. So I might be pressing them to give us more information about how they've done what they've done and what they're going to do in the future. Please ask questions on the right-hand side with a /Q and tweet out the blab on the left-hand side. So let's get started by introducing my guest, Stoski, business manager and agent extraordinaire, as he puts it, at Fresh Media. Bri Hall, yes. She runs a YouTube channel called Smartista Beauty. She's got 340,000 subscribers. That's unbelievable. Shae Enstad, that girl Shae, XO, I assume that means kisses and hugs.
Oh, good.
She's got
16-year-old.
She's got over 255,000 subscribers. So just to kick things off, YouTube is our favorite influencer marketing channel. And by far for us, it blows away any other form of paid or organic marketing if done properly. So my first question is for, let's start with Jackson. Jackson, so why should marketers hire influencers on YouTube versus any other platform?
The thing with YouTube, it's very interactive, and it comes from an organic standpoint. So you don't just have an advertisement. What you have is the creators, they genuinely use the product in their videos. And another great part about it, especially for small businesses, you get an built-in analytics with it. So you can actually measure the click-through and the return on your investment as opposed to like a smaller business, advertising with radio, television, magazine. You can't actually see the direct influence on sales. So that's a big positive.
Okay. All right. And I tend to agree. I mean, Jackson, do you see anything other than YouTube that has as much kind of impact as YouTube? I mean, anything even close?
The closest are, the Instagram, Twitter, anything like that in the social sphere. But YouTube is a lot more interactive, what makes it more beneficial. And we do a lot more business on YouTube. And you really get the creator's perspective on that. And you get a lot of feedback as well, which is great.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's what I see. I mean, I just don't see any other platform as much hype as we're seeing out there about Snapchat. It's not even close to YouTube in terms of what it can do for you, especially when you're talking SEO value.
Yeah. And the thing with Snapchat, it's harder to track. It's not there for a lifetime on there. YouTube, right. You have it 6 months, a year. You can go back, see how it's still doing. Even 2 years from now, you see a lot of videos that get pumped up, re-released, and they get 100,000 more views. So it's a good return on investment, and it continues month by month.
I completely agree. Yeah, and it goes on forever. In fact, some of my videos I put on there 3 years ago, it probably get 2,000 to 3,000 views every single month, and we're not doing any promotion around it. Okay, so let's start with Bri. Bri, just shifting gears slightly as we build our story here. What makes you so engaging to your audience? What have you done in order to kind of resonate with your target audience?
Well, I think I've always just been really different as a child and just growing up. So I wanted to incorporate that into how I execute my beauty videos. So, I listen to hip hop, I listen to R&B. So I incorporated my own kind of flavor into the beauty videos. And also I love crazy hair colors. So I just was kind of fearless with how I, presented my image as well. And I think my viewers identified with that. Yeah. Okay,
and Shae, how would you respond to that question? What makes you so engaging to your audience?
I started as a real makeup artist and for a cosmetic brand. I feel like I took a lot of just the actual interactions I had with real people every day and the questions that they'd have, and I'd go home and answer those same ones for everyone on the internet. Maybe didn't feel comfortable, wasn't able to get to an actual makeup counter or something. So I think just taking all of the questions and things I've learned in real life through my real job and applying that online, it was a better interaction. People were able to get real tips.
Okay. Now, Jackson, the cynic in me says that these are two attractive young women, and that's why they're getting all that engagement. Am I right or am I wrong?
you're not wrong all the time. So it definitely helps. And YouTube, that's the thing. It's a very organic. It's hard to call who's going to be the next big thing on YouTube. The beauty definitely helps, especially in the beauty sphere. And a lot of times what a big thing is being relatable that we find. A lot of the viewers are between their age ranges of 12 to 18. So if you have somebody who's a good role model, that's good, and somebody who can be impressionable to these people, then that's a really big positive. The beauty goes a long way too.
Okay. Now, how did you two both get started? We'll start with Shae this time. I mean, I look at Miss Glamorazzi. I can't believe her story. You guys probably know her pretty well. Her story when she was, 15 or 16, I interviewed her, and she had built a huge following just putting on makeup every day. And it's unbelievable to me that people would tune in and watch young women put on makeup. Do you have a similar story, Shae, or is it slightly different?
Pretty much the same, but slightly different. I'm from the Midwest. I'm from South Dakota, and I had moved to New Jersey when I was 16, and that was a little crazy for me because I wasn't used to these Jersey girls. So I went on YouTube to look at how they wear their makeup and how they do their hair, and I just started loving it. And everyone would start asking me, how do you do that? So I wanted to show it for other people.
Okay, and Bri, how about you?
My story's a little bit different. I'm an art major in college, so I used to do these speed drawing videos, and then my mom was really paranoid of the internet, so I just had my hands, and then one day I got rebellious, and I put my face in there, and then people were like, how'd you do your hair like that? How'd you do your makeup? So I said, okay, I'll start a separate channel, and I'll put a hair video, and that one just kind of went a little viral, and from there, I was like, I kind of like doing this, and it became a little process. Yeah, so that's how I started.
Great. Now, I'm going to shift slightly since our audience are primarily marketers and brands that are either looking to hire YouTube influencers or have. So my question is, let's start with Jackson. Why should brands trust YouTube influencers to promote their products and services?
With YouTube influencers, a big thing about it is that you can actually see the return on investment. You can directly measure the sales. So as far as trust goes, you have something explicit that they can see that you return on the investment, right? So, and a great thing about working with a management too, you have somebody that's there for you, that's working directly with the influencer, making sure that the videos are done on time, making sure all the talking points are addressed, making sure they're not ignoring anything, that they don't just put a video, take it down 6 months later. So they have a lot of trust in that the asks are being done exactly as they should be. And when they reach out to us, we know the business, so we're able to get them in touch with a creator. Like sometimes they might come in looking for a specific creator, and we say, this person's going to work a lot better. They worked with somebody say it's an app company before. We've seen really good return with this. So I think to trust it, a great thing about it is that you can explicitly see the results from it.
Okay. And Bri, when you're working with brands, why do they trust you in delivering their message, or at least reviewing their product or using their product? Why should they trust you?
Well, I always deliver my message in a very kind of fun, spunky way, and I feel I try to make it as organic as possible. And on top of that, I only work with brands. Jackson knows this. I'm very picky. I only work with brands that I really, really, really like, and I also trust. So we're doing a collaboration right now with a brand whose products I actually already had in my dresser drawer. So I was like, those are the type of brands I love to work with that, I already trust them. So I hope they trust me as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can say something about that. That is very true. We have a lot of inquiries. We work with a bunch of different companies. They might come in and say, hey, we want to work with this person. And we always leave it up to the creator to say, do you think you'll be able to do a good job of this? And that's another thing where we can gain the trust. If the creator doesn't think that it'll be the best job, if it'll have the best return and work best on their channel, then they can just say, hey, no, I don't think this is going to work great. And that's another thing that they're able to trust, that they get that opinion too. So they're not just throwing out their money hoping this is going to work. And it really helps that the creator, then they have a genuine connection to the product. And I think their audience can really see that they really like this. They're not faking it at all.
Okay. Shae, anything to add to that? I mean, how do you make brands trust you, and why should brands trust you?
Well, what's most important is that my audience trusts me. So I really, kind of what Bri and Jackson said, just work with names that I've already done research into, or if Jackson tells me about a company that maybe I really haven't used yet, but I am curious about their, for example, I just had a face mask brand. I'll look and see what other YouTubers have talked about before, and on all platforms, not just YouTube, Twitter, like what are real people saying about it? And then I just go from there and pick the ones that, I really do believe in.
Okay. All right. So let's shift to actually a brand's hired you and you are going to produce a video. And I'm going to start with Bri this time. What is your kind of strategy for delivering what I call a branded video? And that could just be a video with a brand mention, or maybe it's a product review or what have you. What is your strategy and what are the elements for an effective branded YouTube video? If you're talking to a brand about why they should hire you and delivering their message, let's just put the obvious that you like the product. What are the next, what's the strategy and the elements that are going to go in that video of yours?
Well, for me, planning a video, I always think first, what would I actually like to see? Because I watched YouTube videos long before I ever made a channel. So I think about that. Let's say it's a fitness brand. I say, it's been a lot of snow outside. So I did a no gym fitness routine for when the gym is closed because it's snowing. And I think planning videos in that way makes them organic and also very easy for the viewers, and it makes it easy to integrate that product into the video as well.
Okay, Shae, what do you think?
Same. I'm planning around seasons or themes. I'm doing a prom video right now featuring different, items you can use to put together looks like that. So I agree, just sticking with themes and whatever's going on in the year too.
Jackson, what do you tell your the influencers you guys work with about this, the strategy, the elements that go into a video, so on and so forth?
With all the creators, so basically when we have a contract, what we do is we make sure that we have the talking points up front, what needs to be addressed. A lot of companies, they'll come in and say hey, we want this very specific elements to it. Basically what they're trying to get out of it at that point is an advertisement like you'd see on TV. And that comes from, I think, an old school background of a lot of people doing the television ads and everything and not quite being used to how YouTube works, how it's a little bit different there, where we leave it up to the creator's perspective. We take the talking points and we integrate that into the video, which works a lot better than just having, a company say, hey, this is how we're going to run the advertisement per se. And we like it a lot better, and it tends to work a lot better return when we have the creator doing what they do best. And that's what we say as well. This person has over 300,000 subscribers per se. They got there for a reason, creating this great content. If a company comes in and tries to change that all around, we say it's not going to work out the best for you. We're going to put these talking points into the video and make it as organic as possible, but we're going to let them create what they do. And we find that works best.
Okay. So, in our experience, we got to really make sure that the influencer, the YouTube influencer, really understands the brand itself. And then we understand what, the influencer feels about the brand and the products. So if they haven't tried it, we get them to try it. Then we start to listen to their stories about the product. And then we kind of advise them and kind of shape through, it's not scripting, but it's like elements of the YouTube video itself, things for them to cover, but do it in a quirky, funny way that doesn't look anything or much different than how you guys communicate with your audiences anyway. But I think authenticity is a key for us. If we don't feel like you're authentically, like the product, we probably would move on. And I would hope that you guys would say the same, because your audience is pretty smart and perceptive.
They are.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. So now that you've done the video and you've done a lot of branded videos, do you have could you name one of your favorite influencer marketing campaigns using YouTube as the primary channel? Let's start with Shae on this one. Do you have a favorite that you like to talk? I know you probably have many. You don't want to call out one brand in particular, but do you have a favorite that you've done that you just really had a lot of fun doing?
Can I talk about Curology, Jackson? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, right now we're working on a project with Curology, which I love. They're a brand that I used to have really severe cystic acne, and they wholeheartedly cleared up my skin and they changed my life. And they put together this campaign for myself and my viewers where I can have a contest to have them try out the product. And then the winner gets to go to New York City with me. We get to go to a spa and have like just a day together. And that is just like amazing. So that's my favorite one I've ever been able to do, just because it gets to help out someone else too. But I love them. They really did help me out so much. So I'm so excited to be able to give that to so many other people.
Okay, Bri?
I definitely wholeheartedly would have to say Revlon, because, I had to go do a hair dye box shoot in Manhattan and then kind of vlog my experience and do a recap. And it was like this whole adventure. I never flown alone before, so that was new. And then, just being on a hair dye box for 3 years is like pretty crazy, seeing my face at different places. I don't know. So I think that was definitely my favorite, and the staff was just incredible. So yeah, that was my favorite so far.
Jackson, have you witnessed one that was your favorite that you saw maybe a group of people do or one person do?
Yeah, I think my favorite one's just kind of as Bri and Shae both said, anything that really you get to see yourself in the mainstream, anything like that, where you can see the tangible results even outside of YouTube. Like with Bri's as well, the hair dye box, and also with Revlon, she'll be going to Atlanta in a few weeks here for a hair show, which will be really cool. So anything like that. And then we had another one with one of our creators named Jackie Wires, and her channel is Cute Styles Go Miles. And what we did with her is a program called Beauty United through Procter & Gamble. And we actually had her in one of the big fashion magazines in Canada called Elle Magazine. So it's cool to actually go into the bookstore, see that magazine on the newsstands and open it up and see the work that you put into it, which is really cool. It's good to see that return, not just financially, but see the creators out there breaking into the mainstream is really exciting for us.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of blend a question with one of the questions the audience have or had. How does somebody reach out to you, Bri and Shae? We'll start with Shae, to hire you. Do you have an agent? Do you have a manager? Do you have both?
That would be Jackson here. I have their BowFresh's email on my Instagram, my Instagram, my Twitter, YouTube. At the end of my YouTube videos, I do a social card that has their information on there. So they'll reach out to them. If they find a way to reach out to me, I just direct them back to Jackson and the BowFresh team.
Okay. And so is it difficult having an agent or a manager in place? I know he's right here, but do they operate pretty smoothly?
Yes, I much prefer it. It's way better than when I was doing it by myself, and also working another full-time job is too much. So it's better to have a team.
Okay. Bri.
My answer is kind of similar. Jackson here and just the team at BowFresh have been really instrumental because when I was answering all my own emails, I'm a full-time student. So sometimes, I would get flooded and it would take me 48 hours to respond. So I think it's really efficient to have someone, kind of shift through things a little bit, who knows the business, and he makes my job a little bit easier. Definitely. I just feel like it's very organized.
Mm-hmm.
Very organized. So our experience is there are good and bad managers and agents, some that are really bad, actually, some that are really great. Our experience with Jackson, that's why we have him on, has been very positive. So it's kind of hit and miss if you've never done this before. What would happen if you guys had a bad agent? Would you advise them to go around that agent, or what would you advise them to do? Either Shae or Bri.
If they had an agent and it wasn't a very good agent?
Not responsive. Usually it's not responsive or just, just terrible to deal with.
But then you got to get out. Yeah, you got to find a way out for sure. Yeah.
But if I'm the brand and I want to hire you, would you mind if I went directly to you, or how would you see that working?
I guess it would depend on your contract agreement or your agreement with because I'd hate to, you wouldn't want to get yourself in trouble working with a brand outside of your arranged agreement with your agent. But I guess I'd look into that. I haven't had that experience yet, thank God.
Okay. Bri, anything to add to that? I'll share my experience.
I personally haven't really had that experience, but as Jackson knows, I'm very like, if I don't hear from anybody, which they're very responsive, so not even, BoFresh, but if I don't hear from anybody, period, I'm a very like, I have a list every day of people to reach out to. So if I need something from you, I'm going to reach out and basically I'll just, keep emailing. If email doesn't work, I will call, until I get what I need, because, it's a team effort. And I feel, you have to hold up both ends. So, yeah.
Yeah. And so from my point of view, sometimes, I'd say most of the time, agents have your best interests and will maximize your contract value in mind. I'd say most of the time. But like any other service, you get good and bad. So I think, it's a tough question to answer. This is Mitch Jackson's question. But what we tend to do is gravitate towards the good agents, the good managers, and the people that really know how to follow up. If you've done any TV celebrity types of things, it's quite the nightmare if you're dealing with the wrong agent. Plus, you have the celebrity behind them that's a prima donna most of the time. And so it could be very challenging. So having a good agent, having a good manager, I think is a must in this business, especially because I think it's fair to say, Bri and Shae, that you guys are just mostly interested in producing great content and connecting with your audiences, right? It's the business side, maybe not as fun, but you need that business side, to keep producing these videos. Am I right?
Yes, that's 100%.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. So let's talk about frequency. Let's say you've got a brand like Curology that you mentioned, or Revlon. Realistically, how often can you promote that brand or use that brand in a video? Is it once a month, once a year? So these are questions that we get all the time from brands. How often can we work with this influencer? What would you say to that, Bri?
I know Jackson and I talk about this as well. I'm not a big fan of oversaturating my content. I like to have variability. Like, sometimes I'll have a hair video, sometimes it'll be makeup. I like to mix it up because I watch channels and I study them and I say, I've noticed they had like 10 videos in a row for this brand, and I start to kind of distance myself. And I definitely don't want to alienate any subscribers. So I would say at least a month in between, would be reasonable space for like branded videos.
Jackson, would you agree with that?
Yeah, with this, so if you're doing different companies, I would say space out your branded videos about a month or so. But if you're working with the same company, like right now we have a contract with Bri and a hair company where she's doing a video around every 3 to 4 months. And we found that works best just mainly on experience. Like we've done contracts in the past where we did a video every month and we just saw the views declining by each successive video, which it made sense. Like people see that advertisement, they click through it, they know it's another one of these videos. Then they can tell like it's not as genuine. If you spread it out 3 months, then you have a gap between maybe you have a new product launch. And that's what we like to focus on if we do reoccurring videos. We want it to be successive with, say, a new product launch, something new and exciting, like a giveaway, anything like that, just to mix it up a bit so it's not the same product for 4 times. It can be the same company, but you want to give some variation. And you also want to have an incentive to the subscribers, some sort of deal that they can click through in the description. That's what we've done with Bri's video as well with this hair company. We do like you can get the 3 products that she uses in the video as a discounted price, which really helps. And the viewers really like that. They get a benefit out of it as well.
Yeah, you're jumping into my next question, but I want to let Shae answer this question as well.
Okay.
So, well, it's the same question, but do you think that, what is the frequency of videos that you feel like you could do for a brand? Do you agree with Jackson? Yeah, okay.
It would have to be separate, definitely a little bit farther apart, a month for sure. Okay.
What if though you were doing a challenge, like a story where you're checking in weekly on something that's happened? Maybe it's Curology, where it's weekly checkup to see how things have changed over the last 8 weeks.
If it was the case like that, I might see if I could also incorporate my other social media platforms to do check-ins, not just solely on YouTube, kind of break it up a little bit. But I probably wouldn't want to do, because not every, YouTuber can upload every single day. So if you're doing a check-in once a week on your channel and you only upload 3 times a week on your channel to begin with, then, it's a lot of your videos is already sponsored by that brand. So I think you got to mix it up more.
Okay. 2 more questions. These are my favorite 2. So I'm going to start with Jackson. Jackson, what are the best calls to action that you've seen in videos? How are they placed in the videos or the comments? And what converts the best? Those are 3 kind of things, but very interested in your answer here.
The best call to action that I think I've seen really so far is even the Curology campaign that we're doing with Shae, because it's very interactive. Like, we have incentive because there's the contest at the end. Like, if you participate, if you upload your photos, so it has an interaction on that side, and then it generates the before and after photos as well, because the campaign is the viewers get to use Curology for a month, upload their progress photos, and from that, Shae gets to select the winner. So in that, you have the product actually being used, not just like a purchase this and you can be entered to win, but they actually have to be interactive. They actually have to use the product and show that it works. So that really helps driving the sales of the products, as well as having a little extra something for the subscribers. So I think that has been the best call to action I've seen thus far. A lot of times there's not as great calls to action where it's just like, you've used the product, you haven't really talked in depth, and at the end of the video, it's basically just saying, go buy this product, right? And the subscribers just think like, why would I do that, right? So it has to always have an incentive, a reason for the subscriber to think like, this is something that is good, not just because there's enough products out there that everybody can be saying, buy this product, but there's no real reason behind it.
But where in the video or in the comments should it be? Is it a call to action box that pops up, or how do you direct that type of call to action?
The call to action that we find works best is a verbal call to action. With the description, a lot of people, especially on mobile, is the issue. Like, over 50% of views are on mobile. So if you have the description, people just click on the video. While they're watching the video, they don't see the description box below because it's in full screen. And then when they have like an annotation in the video, it's harder to click. In mobile, a lot of times it won't direct you to that proper site. So if you have the actual vocal call to action, and if they say, go to the description box, you'll find this here, so that they know that there's a link there, as opposed to just hoping to find it on your own, there's a lot better return on that.
Okay, excellent. So Shae, same sort of question. When you are doing these videos for audiences, what is the best call to action that you've seen? Is it similar to what Jackson said, or are there other calls to action that you've seen that have worked?
To be honest, I'd also have to agree with the Curology one. I already had like an overwhelming amount of tweets and like posts from my viewers who have been using it and loving it. And I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. So I think them seeing the actual results that I had and all of it together, it's definitely been the most powerful one. Okay.
Bri, anything different?
With the call to action, I tend to do the verbal call to action as well. And I like to interact with my subscribers like friends. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of like, I have this deal for you guys. And people will snap me and say, thanks for the hookup with this, product, and snap me pictures of them like, like they bought it and it just, was delivered to them and stuff like that. So I think it's pretty effective because people feel like they're benefiting from the, call to action as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Last question. I'm going to start with Shae. You guys have such a huge amount of views on your videos, anywhere from 100,000 to 1 million. I guess it just depends on the video. How are you promoting these videos? Is it solely organic, or is it, does the client step in and help pay for additional views, targeted views, combination of both?
Solely organic. I promote on Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, anywhere, but also just interacting with other YouTubers, making friends with the community, because we all want to support each other too. But that's it. Yeah, they don't really help pay for views or anything like that. It's all organic.
Okay. Bri, anything different?
Yeah, mine's is organic as well. I noticed that going to events definitely helps, as Shae was saying, networking with other YouTubers. My channel, I saw it like literally skyrocket after just going to one event in New York. And that's when I realized, wow, like networking is really, really powerful.
So you're adding offline networking into it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Word of mouth. And then, you know, when people meet you and like you're just generally a nice person, sometimes it's just like, yeah, let me check out your content. And then, you know, from there on, you develop like a friendship and bond.
Okay. And Jackson, what do you advise your talent to do in order to market their own videos?
To market their own videos, there is the back end stuff, like the search engine optimization stuff. So basically YouTube's, aside from Google, one of the biggest search engines. So if you want to search something like summer hair tutorial, anything like that, you're going to have to be able to find it in that search engine. You want to be as close to the top as possible. So if you're doing a summer hair tutorial and you're naming it something very, very specific, like going to the movies at 7 p.m. doing my hair like this, you're not going to find that. Nobody's searching for that. So to be marketable in search engine optimization, and a lot of times doing the actual tentpole type videos, you know, the summer hairstyles, the Chris going to a Christmas dinner kind of look, anything that falls on things that people would actually really search. So having the great content in there and just really being searchable, and people see that, they see that that's a great video, as well as being able to find it is a huge thing. So I think the biggest thing is actually being able to find that video. And then on top of that, for being marketable, the collaborations with other YouTubers are huge, because you get that whole cross-pollination of different subscribers. So if somebody might have 200,000, that's not the same as somebody else's 200,000, and that's a really effective way. So it's beneficial to both parties.
Okay, and you say something that we're big on is SEO optimization. Are you doing keyword research for Bri and for Shae? Do they do it? Who's doing all that?
Yeah, we do have somebody in-house that does the search engine optimization. And a lot of times when we have a contract with brands, if they have an in-house search engine optimization specialist, we will have it in the contract that they'll produce the search engine keywords, and then we will have the creators put that into their videos.
Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, well, we're going to wrap it up right now. Please join me in thanking our esteemed panelists. Really appreciate it. You guys very succinct, gave great answers, very detailed answers. And as a reminder, if you want the replay, we're going to post this on Forbes and on the Fanatics Media YouTube site ourselves, and we'll try to get these two fine young ladies to help us promote it. So thanks again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure.